Well, good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome in on a cold Monday morning with Longshore and McKnight. So glad that you are here with us today. National Championship Monday. It is finally here after a pretty good weekend of NFL football playoff action.
Pretty good. It was phenomenal. It was absolutely unbelievable. I don't know that I'd ever seen a playoff day or a playoff weekend like there was in the NFL. It was crazy. Pretty good. I mean, your standards are so high.
Yeah. I think it was like last week when you said that was the worst NFL game I've ever seen. There was no scoring. It was boring, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, whoa, I thought it was great. I love the low scoring game. It fit my needs perfectly.
That's exactly right.
I will say Saturday's games were better than yesterday's, but more on that later.
So there was that. The Rams win. Oh, heartbreaker for the Bears. I thought they were cruising down to take that game, and all of a sudden, no. Patriots look really good in a freaking blizzard in Foxborough. Seahawks drilled the 49ers. The Broncos make it to the AFC Championship game with an overtime win over the Bills, but they lose their starting quarterback. He broke his ankle on a kneel down near the end, or, when they were trying to get in position for the field goal or something. Bo Nix is.
Barry, I didn't find that out until the next morning, and I'm reading about the game, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, Bo Nix broke his ankle? I know I saw that whole game. What do you mean he broke his ankle? So then I go back and watch killing the clock or something?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how you could see him kind of.
We had seen Bo Nix take a beating in his career at Auburn. We saw him get knocked every which way but sideways, helmet turned around. He's looking out of his ear hole. He picks himself up, and he goes on and everything. And you're telling me that's how he breaks his ankle and his season is done? And now it's up to Jared Stidham to get the job done.
Wow. Did he transfer out of Auburn, or did he finish at Auburn? I can't remember.
One of them did, one of them didn't.
Okay.
If your memory is faulty on Bo Nix, he did. He ended up, John. He ended up transferring.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But Jared Stidham transferred in to Auburn.
Oh, okay.
And stayed there,
okay. All right.
And then went into the NFL, where a lot of people are like, Jared Stidham still in the NFL? My wife says, where do I know that name? Yep.
Yeah. Is he taking like maybe 5 snaps in the NFL?
No, he started a few games back for the Raiders.
Wow.
Not many. He's been a career backup. He's been in the league for like 7 years or so. And now all of a sudden, here he is. He's playing in the AFC Championship game as the starter. And who was it? It was it Aikman, or was it? I think it was Aikman last night. He said, I fully expect Jared Stidham to go in there and have a big day in the AFC Championship game against the Patriots, which is in Denver, by the way. So that helps. Wouldn't that be the story?
What is more difficult? Wow. I mean, AFC Championship game, big game, no doubt, at home in Denver at your home spot. You got to stand on the sidelines while a guy that, I don't know how many snaps Jarrett Stidham's taken for the Broncos this year, but I got to guess not many. And Jarrett Stidham trots out there, wins the AFC Championship game, heads to the Super Bowl. Let's just say they win the Super Bowl in 2 games. He's won the 2 most important games for the Broncos this year, while the starter is on the sidelines. Didn't the New York Giants have a quarterback that did that? Phil Simms got hurt, maybe, and guy wore number 15. I can't. Had a mustache.
Jeff Hostetler. Later, he played at West Virginia. You can't tell me. I'm not falling for this bait. You can't tell me that John Longshore hasn't had that dream in his youth over and over and over again. Just this exact same scenario in the postseason. Starter gets hurt. Everybody turns their eyes to number 8 on the sidelines for the next game. He comes trotting out confidently into the huddle. All right, fellas, let's go kick some tail. Here we go. Yeah. And I mean, state championship on the shoulders. And then all of a sudden he wakes up and is like, what? Oh, man, you know. Jarrett Stidham is living that on a much higher level. I think he'll play well. I don't know, though.
I probably would have, patted Turk on the shoulder pads and said, hate it for you.
Even though as they carry him off, that probably would be more painful than the ankle or the foot injury. Saying, that son of a gun. Yeah.
So if Stidham leads them to 2 victories, is there a quarterback controversy in Denver?
There is not.
Oh.
There is not, because when you think about it, Bo Nix has led them to 14 victories. So I've even forgotten. And obviously we watched him a lot. For those people who don't know, he was a quarterback at Auburn too. He was actually, there's a picture on social media where he actually was hosting Bo Nix, who came to Auburn on a recruiting visit like he was going to go anywhere else. They said Ohio State.
Sure.
And turns out, 8 years later, 7 years later, Nix is the starting quarterback in the NFL and Stidham is his backup. But if I've forgotten what kind of a quarterback Stidham is. Was he? I mean, he was good. He led Auburn to an SEC game, SEC championship game appearance.
Was that the game against Georgia?
Yep, that was the one where Kerryon Johnson got hurt was hurt. And couldn't play, and Georgia ended up having 2 weeks after Auburn beat Georgia, 3 weeks after Auburn beat Georgia in the regular season. Georgia wins in the SEC championship game and says, "Hey, congratulations on that little win you guys had earlier."
I think, Barry, I have read from one particular writer that if Kerryon Johnson had played in that game, Auburn would have won. I think I've read that multiple times.
You probably heard from one sports radio talk show host about that too, because that's the truth. That would have happened that way. Rams beat the Bears yesterday in overtime, despite an insane throw by Caleb Williams on 4th down. It was.
What did that throw remind people of?
Yeah.
When they saw that, did they have a flashback of another throw similar to that?
Yes, of a guy that Bama fans dog cussed the first of 2 in a row that spent their entire career at the University of Alabama and led their team to many wins, and the fans were ready for both of them to get out of there. Evidently, this first one was Jalen Milroe. Patriots in the snow beat the Texans. Seahawks drill the 49ers, and again the Broncos win against the Bills. Here's what it looks like now.
Did Milroe get in the game in that blowout? I didn't watch the entire game. I'm wondering if he even got some mop-up duty in that game. When you win by 41 to, what was it, 41-17?
Final 41. I just had it. I had it right in front of me. And
it was a rout. It wasn't close.
Yeah, it was. They didn't have much of a chance in that one. It was 41-6. Brock Purdy, bless his heart, had no chance in that one as well. But today also, don't think we don't know this. We are on the verge of crowning a college football national championship.
That is true. It's a happy and a sad day. Yeah, I'm still trying to get my hands around that, Barry. Indiana, 2-9 a couple of years ago. Here they are, undefeated, blowing people out. Yeah, I mean, I've heard people say one particular fan base in particular, you fill in the blank, if they can do it, why can't we? I've actually heard that, believe it or not.
There's a lot of fan bases who probably feel that way because Indiana was horrendous for a long time. There's a lot of fan bases from Kansas and Minnesota and Maryland and Wake Forest and NC State and Mississippi State are saying, well, if Indiana can do it, and believe me, I've spent a little time in Indiana. Football ain't been a big deal to them, to say the very least. Why can't anybody go?
Is this their fourth bowl game in their history? Not including the playoffs, but I mean, I'm obviously.
Well, yeah, including the
bowl
playoffs.
era. I want to say they've been to 3 bowl games prior to this year,
and they've been to 3 bowl games this year. They've been to the whatever, the Rose Bowl, and then the bowl, and then this will be their third. They will have won as many bowl games this year as they have won in their entire history. That's how improbable this is. And the main thing I've got to say, never been a Miami fan in my life. Sorry, Kane Lake. Don't screw this up for the Cinderella story, Miami. Don't go in there and win that game. I think Indiana wins it anyway. They're who's to say what's sizable and what is not, but 7.5 is what I see.
Yeah, that number's come down, Barry. There's some money on the Hurricanes because it'd been 8.5 almost all last week. And I checked this morning before we went on the air, and I went, whoa, little Kane money coming in late. So it's still over a touchdown, but just a tad at 7.5.
Don't screw this up for the American people who love a Cinderella story, Miami. Don't do that. Miami, you've won championships before. You had maybe one of the best rosters I've ever seen in that, what was it, 2001 Miami team with Willis McGahee and Ray Lewis and oh gosh, all of the Benny Blades and
Benny Blades. What a name. What a great name for a wide receiver.
So,
Benny Blades.
Let's not screw this up. Let's let Indiana have this. I think they have it anyway, despite your best efforts, but I'm just rooting for a really good story in this one.
You know what they say?
Indiana winning the national championship.
And they could do that. I'm just wondering if they can win it by more than a touchdown. We'll get into that a little bit more later on. The total in this game, 47.5. And if you're interested in the money line, if you think Indiana's going to win outright, they're minus 325 to win 100. Miami, on the other hand, plus 260 if you think they can win the game outright. So we'll get into that a little bit later on, but it is going to be a big evening. And I was thinking there will probably be, 5 or 6 different ways you can watch the game tonight. ESPN seems to enjoy putting multiple screens on. You'll have Pat McAfee on the sidelines. You'll have a bunch of old coaches sitting in a room talking about the game. You'll have an overhead shot, Deportes. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but I'm a traditionalist. I like to stick with the Fowler Herb Street broadcast, listen to it the old way.
I'm not a fan of the McAfee deal. And people will do this. People will accidentally go on, on their Hulu or on their YouTube TV, and all of a sudden they'll see the game. It's on the game, Indiana and Miami, and they'll click on the game, and you always will have people on Facebook, which is mostly old people who don't know any better, that'll say, is anybody else not getting Fowler and Herb Street? All I'm getting is crowd noise. ESPN's messed up here. And everybody's like, no, that's the stadium version or whatever. And what in the world are we doing watching that buffoon Pat McAfee on the sidelines? Don't they have that? So, you've got that. Way offsides, Jeff says, too bad there isn't a Peyton Eli broadcast. That's the best TV going during the NFL season. The numbers will not tell you that this year, Jeff. The Manning cast last year, 2 years ago, they would reach 1.5, 1.6 million, which is not a great number in the overall scheme of things, but that is
No.
1.5 to 1.6. This year, the Manning cast has never gotten over 900,000 viewers. So people
It's
are
an
a little bit
acquired taste.
jaded on the Manning cast, just like I hope they're a little bit jaded on that Pat McAfee stuff that he does. So,
Well,
here's hoping.
I don't think they are. He seems to be all over the place. Yeah, I kind of wonder if the Manning cast is kind of, been there, done that. It was kind of fun at first, but it's kind of dragging on, and it's kind of the same old, same old. And, at first Peyton did all the talking and never let Eli talk, and then they kind of equal that up a little bit. And then they bring guests on throughout the broadcast, and some of them are interesting, some of them aren't. But I think it's kind of like it was neat at first, but I'm over it.
Kind of like Entourage, if you think about it,
Well, it's like every great series. It's like Miami Vice. As they got into season 5, it just wasn't as good as the first 4 seasons. Same thing with Entourage. It got a little crazy.
They weren't doing as much police work as they were leaning on the car, looking over Biscayne Bay while Tommy Shaw was playing in the background. Basically, it was just one big long movie video. I mean, music video. So, yeah, I get that.
Well, yeah, I mean, things kind of wear out their welcome. They drag it. Like Law and Order SVU. I think they need to wrap that up. I mean, those characters are looking dated, old. Ooh.
Yeah, you get over there, you're trying to make an arrest, and the suspect runs, and they're all like, oh, I can't catch up with that kid. My back and my hamstrings hurting and all that kind of stuff. Well, John is on location. I'm in the home studio. It's National Championship Day. It's also Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It's a federal holiday. I mean, my work, Troy University, is closed today, but I'm going into work. I've got a lot going on. So a lot of you getting up early for us today, even though you don't have to go into work, means a lot to us, and we certainly appreciate it.
Very 5:14 this morning was our first River Region Straw chat today.
Yes,
man.
Yes.
Woo,
Once again,
5:14.
Actually, it was. I want to shout out Ty. Ty was the first one. As a matter of fact, Ty was, I think, the first 8 on there. Ty gives us the entire sports breakdown, chat by chat, all the way for about an hour. I mean, he'll come back about 15 minutes later and says, oh, yeah, by the way, another heartbreaking playoff loss by the Bills. And, so.
Why go to ESPN.com? We got Ty right there to tell us what's going on.
That's exactly right. We don't even have to read Philip. We got Ty. He'll let us know what's going on in the world of sports.
Well, speaking of that, we're going to get into some SEC basketball from over the weekend. And what about those Troy Trojans? These guys can light it up. I mean,
I'm telling you, I've never seen. I've done Troy. I've done basketball at Troy this is my 24th year. I've never seen a stretch like the Trojans are going through. Troy is in first place in the league. They're beating everybody lately. The last 3 games they've won by over 20 points. And they beat Arkansas State by 25 at home on Saturday. Going on the road. I'm here today. I'm here tomorrow. And then I'm on the road for the rest of the week to Norfolk, Virginia, and Statesboro, Georgia. But I'm going to be here. We've still got loads of stuff to get to this week. And we're glad you're along with us here. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown." Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, bro.
Jim
weirdest
Massey's
thing is
Cleaners
happening
and
at the
Laundry
game.
is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the river region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the river region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 20 minutes past the hour on this Monday. I actually listened to the Oklahoma broadcast of the Oklahoma-Alabama game on Saturday. I was in my vehicle and certainly not safe to watch it while you're driving. So I listened to it, and those guys are enthusiastic. I got to tell you. I mean, I wasn't sure if it was the end of the game. It was a buzzer beater from half court because every shot was, I mean, I thought, wow, man, these guys are really excited about this game today. But Bama comes up on top after a failed three-pointer by the Sooners at the buzzer.
Yeah, they win it by a final score of 83-81. They were behind a lot in that second half. They're finding a way. I mean, it's not a perfect team. It has the feel maybe of Sweet 16, which I don't want you to know, but there goes Barry Dog in Alabama. Sweet 16 is good, right? Sweet 16 is nice. But there are many years Bama fans will be like, "Oh boy, Sweet 16." I'm not dogging them. I've seen better, but it is still capable of a lot of stuff. Nate Oates can really coach.
I got to see more.
Yes.
I've got to see more of this team. You know, as with the football team, it was pretty early when I said this team's not going to win the national championship. That didn't go over well either. But once they played more games, people kind of started thinking more like I did early with the Tide football team. I mean, I'll say this, Barry. This team's not winning the national championship,
no.
The basketball team. But maybe they'll have a nice run in the tournament. Obviously, who they play is going to have a lot to do with it, because if they play teams that can rebound or got some big guys in the middle, that could be tough.
Oklahoma did not. Alabama out-rebounded them. That I'm glad you said that. That was a key point of it. Oklahoma is even worse on the boards than Alabama is.
Yeah, they are. But I know we slightly mentioned Phillip already today, but leave it to him, Barry. There again, it's the reason I pay for it every month. A little slight jab at Alabama's victory against Oklahoma, kind of in his, wrap-up part of his article at the end. He starts talking about SEC basketball. I think it was in his Sunday Musings column. And he just kind of took kind of backhanded compliment to the Tide. Oh, yeah, by the way, Bama won by 2, but not very impressed. I went, wow, man, what happened with Bama and Phillip? He was not impressed with the Tide's road SEC victory. Huh.
Is it surely that wasn't in his Sunday reflections in Auburn and beyond? Certainly that wasn't the keystone of that.
No.
Piece.
No. Oh, heck no. It was something about Auburn, maybe portals, blah, blah, blah. You get down to the bottom, toward the end of it, something about SEC basketball in general. It's about 2 lines. And I went, whoa.
Okay.
Man.
All right. Let's see.
This comes on the heels, Barry, of a couple of other shots recently, like, getting blown out by Indiana and blown out by Georgia in the SEC championship game. And I thought, man, he's on a roll lately.
I can't agree with this. I thought, I don't know, maybe John is is, again, Philip is Philip Marshall, AuburnUndercover.com senior editor, a daily look at the issues and people of Auburn athletics, the SEC, and beyond. At the very beginning, you went with Alabama survived after a late three-pointer from Oklahoma went awry. You cited that out of his work and not relevance is not an issue for Auburn football. He says this, quote, "It has become popular among lots of Auburn fans to say Auburn is no longer relevant in college football. That is not true and has never been true. Yes, Auburn has had 5 consecutive losing seasons.
That's true.
Yes, Auburn has had 5 consecutive losing seasons. I never thought I'd see Indiana in the championship. I never thought I'd see Auburn with 5 straight.
Just let that sink in for a moment.
And he
just let that marinate.
Consecutive losing seasons. 5. It was also the 8th most watched team on college football television this season. Is that the most esque thing that you could have ever said? Yeah, they stink, but everybody's looking at them. Like, John, when somebody brought up the watched college football playoff game to this point was Indiana and Alabama in the Rose Bowl. What is it, something like 23 million, something like that, watching that? John's point was that's 23 million that saw Alabama get their behind.
That's the way I look at that.
We've lost more games than we've won for 5 straight seasons, but at least teams are looking at us. Yeah, that's maybe why recruiting hasn't been so good.
And I'm taking just a shot here, but maybe some of the people help Auburn get to that 8th position are Alabama fans watching them get beat. Oh, look at this. Hey, Ralph, look at this. Auburn's are losing again. This is great.
Just
throwing it out there.
You got on TigerInsider.com, which is one of my main Auburn-centric message boards.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Jim Chi says at 6:35 this morning, it's killing Auburn that 2 of their biggest rivals have long winning streaks against them. They're not really relevant, and they know what we're going on 7, and UGA is going on 10 next year. That hurts. I mean, that's not killing Auburn. What's killing Auburn is 5 straight losing seasons. Bama fans are on in mid-January saying, hey, look, the Aubs, it's got to be killing them the way they've been losing to us. Making it all about them.
Well,
there's virtually anything in college athletics, Bama fans can find a way to make it about them. You know, Auburn's lost more games than it's won for 5 straight years, but it's got to be killing them to be losing to us. They're losing to everybody.
So, Barry, we're getting into that time. There's multiple times during the year where we enter these phases, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
The portal is closed. People have wrapped up their portal class. We're going to talk about that more in a moment. Basketball's, getting into getting kind of the meat of the season.
Oh, yeah.
But Auburn and Alabama have yet to face each other on the hardwood this year. That's coming. So what do you do now? You're in that phase where you kind of are jabbing and needling and poking and prodding, throwing some zingers out there. And on Tiger Insider, yes, are they hoping Auburn people read it? Yeah, that's a bonus. But what they're wanting to do is get a knee slapper out of their buddies. Hey, look at this guy. This is Bart Ralston or whatever that guy goes by. Hey, man.
That's one of my favorites.
Knee slapper. Love that guy.
Between Fort Ralston and Miso Forney, those are my favorites out there. Auburn will host Alabama on February the 7th, and then Alabama will host Auburn in the last game of the regular season in first week of March and all that.
I'm sure one of those games is on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. I don't know why the league doesn't put in-state rival games, both of them, on Saturday. Makes no sense to me.
you got if you're rank and file Bama fan, and I'm not talking about the ones who are thoroughly invested, who are at everything they can possibly get to. I'm talking about guy who likes to talk about Alabama when he goes to the post office or, at the Piggly Wiggly or whatever, talking to his buddies and all that. And, on TighterInsider.com, it's a wide range. Maybe you've got some liberals in there. You definitely have a bunch of conservative political people. So you can't really get a knee slapper from everybody if you talk about the current administration or about, how local politics are going, or, hey, what about the economy? It really stinks, doesn't it? Am I right? Am I right? And maybe somebody's making a killing right now in this economy. So what kind of easy common denominator, greatest reach for your buck can you have besides Longshore and McKnight on YouTube? What broad reach can you have for your message that you're pretty sure you're going to get a little chuckle from? The Aubs. All right, yeah. Let's see. It must be killing Auburn to have lost so many to us in a row. They've lost so many to a lot of people in a row, way too many. So it's
well, it is. It's
low hanging
time of
fruit,
year,
you guys.
It is. It's this time of year. We'll get through basketball. Let's, for instance, say Auburn goes further in the NCAA tournament than Alabama does this year. Then things will get quiet for a minute. You'll have about a week period where there's not a lot of buzz, there's not a lot of jabbing, things like that. Then they'll start back. Something will trigger it. They'll get going. But if it starts where, Auburn goes further, does better, whatever it may be.
Right.
Then they'll be quiet. Now, if Auburn loses in the first round, what do they call him? Little Stevie or whatever they call Pearl over there? Mini Pearl, whatever they call him. It'll be all over the internet.
But
Mini Pearl.
the difficulty is, and who knows what happens. There's still so much basketball to be played. Last year, and everybody said that, they said this the other day with Billis and with Dan Shulman, the SEC, which was Kentucky, Tennessee. Billis and Shulman said, there's never going to be a year, a conference like the SEC was last year. That's the best conference. John and I said it's the best conference we ever saw.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the net and the Ken Palm and something, look, Auburn's 2-3 in the SEC, but their net is 36, which is better than Texas A&M. It's better than Missouri. It's, applicable to Ole Miss. But it doesn't exactly, it's not great getting you into the NCAA as an at-large. There's going to come a time when it's not necessarily whether Auburn goes farther in the NCAA or Alabama goes farther than the NCAA. There's going to come a time when Auburn will get to the NCAA and Alabama will once again be faced with turning down a home game against Coppin State in the NIT.
Yeah.
And then the fans are going to get up. And Bama fans would already have a built-in excuse. Well, all of a sudden you're a basketball school or, something like that. So, we like them. Believe me, if Auburn would win an Iron Bowl over the last couple of years, it would have been fantastic for us. We would have loved it.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we've said this many a time in our 30-year history together. The periods of time where both Auburn and Alabama were really good in football at the same time, that's when it's fun. I'll admit, that's when it's fun. A lot of jawing, a lot of, needling, poking, prodding. But, Barry, that was back in the day when a kid got busted for weed. It was a big deal. Now it's not even a big deal.
Oh,
a little off-the-field issue. That was a week's worth of programming. Now it's who cares?
This kid's he's going to have to sit out this year because of academic probation. Or do you remember, John? Do you remember the word and the number, the words Prop 48? Do you remember the prop? Oh, this guy's a prop. I hear this kid. I know he's a 5-star. Boy, we need running backs. This kid would be great for us. But he's a Prop 48. You remember that? Prop 48 meant
I
that
do.
kid was going to be able to be admitted, but he wasn't going to be able to be eligible to play intercollegiate football that year academically. Academically,
So
John.
what kind of grades do you have to make to be a Prop 48?
Does anybody even remember
why
what a
Prop
Prop 48 is? You know, you got something, either you didn't make the proper score on your ACT, or you didn't make the proper score, the proper GPA to get in, which John knows far better than I do exactly that GPA you've got to get to be able to get in, because that was John's target. I think, some people had a picture of Farrah Fawcett on their walls. John had that GPA. I got to get it. But you also would have
people take the ACT like 3 times. I'm going, why are you taking it again? You got what you need. I mean, come on.
But it's not as good as I can do. I can do better than this. Why? So what? I might be able to do better with the girlfriend I've got, but I'm happy, that kind of a thing. So Prop 48s, you never see somebody anymore. This guy signed a $5 million contract. Yeah, in college you have contract. This guy signed a $5 million contract for 2 years to be the starting quarterback at Duke or at Miami or something like that. Unfortunately, he flunked an anthropology class, and now he's not going to be academically eligible. And that $5 million, ain't nobody going to do that. These people are businessmen. They're thinking, wait. You asked me to give you 7 figures so we can get this quarterback. What's that professor's name? Do you have her phone number? Let me talk to her. You ain't never going to see that anymore.
I wonder, Barry, if Prop 48 went the way of, well, we can't use that, or we can't make that public because it might hurt this young man's psyche or his mental state to be able to really do what's necessary to get into college. It's kind of like a medical record. You can't show people their medical records. Can't let people know he's a Prop 48. Maybe that's where it happened. That, somebody got their feelings hurt. Well, I'm not real smart, and the whole world knows about it now. So can't use Prop 48s. Can't do it.
There's a lot of things you've got to be, you may be right. There's a lot of things you got to be very careful with. It would unfairly characterize him as being dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't want to do that. Certainly not. But also, the things with the with HIPAA, with the Freedom of Information Act in terms of your medical records. Baseball player takes a ground ball, takes a bad hop, hits him right in the groin. Or a basketball player, leaps for a rebound and an elbow hits him right in the groin, and he's down there and he's curled up on the ground and he is grabbing where, you don't usually grab in public.
Yeah.
And as a television announcer, you can't really say what it really is, Well, he's going to be out for the rest of the game because of a lower body injury. Got hit in the jewels. Everybody knows that, but hey, you don't want to let
the field.
Yeah. Everybody's looking at him and nobody's doing anything. Hey man, you want to drink of water?
Need some air?
That help?
Yeah. Need some room. You can use,
and you can't say that stuff because they're like, well, he's currently out with a lower body injury. They're not specifying the nature of the injury or its severity. I'm thinking he got hit in the jewels and it hurts like Hades, everybody knows what that is, but you can't say it.
So you watch a guy walk off the field. If it is a foot, like Bo Nix the other day, ankle, knee, something of that in that area, you can tell because the way they're leaving the field, a slight limp favoring one side over the other. If it's a head injury, usually the head's down as they walk off the field because they're kind of woozy and somebody's helping them.
Yeah.
If it is a injury in that area, they're walking gingerly. And I don't know what the definition of gingerly is, but I've heard that, like, ooh, man, out. It's kind of like be careful, don't give him some room. He's got to work this out on his own. I mean, that type thing.
Yeah, just
you can just kind of tell.
you're over on the sidelines. You have that young female athletic trainer. I'm a big fan of athletic trainers. She's walking up to him, and she's got the Powerade bottle, and she's holding it. And he's going,
yeah. Honey, there's nothing you can do to help me here. Just give me a couple of minutes.
I need time. I need. Yeah. And she's looking like, and you're like, hey, man, I'm telling you, ma'am, he just, there ain't nothing you can do for him. Just give him a moment. But did you hear his language? Yep. I get it. He doesn't mean it. He's just.
I think you've got to be listening really close. But I believe in Caddyshack, when Judge Schmales hit that T-ball that hit Al Chervik in that same area, I think you hear Dr. Beeper in the background going, he's got to walk that off. You got to be listening, though.
4. They should have yelled 2.
Dr. Beeper.
Yeah. So
he's got to walk that one off.
Anyway,
I hear what you're saying there.
So what do we feel? You in the chat line, you in the viewing public, is Indiana. When we take to the air tomorrow, will we be talking about the national football champion being Indiana? Indiana. Is there somebody out there? It would be, and God bless your daughter. She's as sharp as a tack. And she finished 7th out of like 10 million in the ESPN bracket challenge.
Unbelievable.
This would be a bigger upset. Somebody out there at the beginning of the year, too much of fandom or something, laid a bet somewhere for Indiana to win the national championship. Somebody did it somewhere. People will bet on anything. Somebody is going to make a ton of money. Indiana. How did we get to this point in college football?
Here's what I've been hearing lately, mainly from an older fan base, people our age and around our age. They do not want Miami to win. They remember Miami back in the day when they were cocky and confident and intimidating and just rubbing it in your face.
They would come to the national championship. They would come to the national championship game dressed in fatigues and, because we're going to war and everything. And, just stop it. Just stop with the gimmicky, dumb stuff.
They don't want the U to be back, so to speak.
No.
And, they were one of the last to get into the playoffs. They go out to College Station, beat A&M badly. So certainly they own some they've got the momentum. They're on a roll. But people, maybe the younger demographic likes Miami. I don't know. I'm have to ask my boys, who you like? Who you think about the game tonight? But the older demographic, not so much. I think the Indiana story is really neat.
But
it just more than anything shows you how college football has changed. There's been a lot of people write about this subject, a lot of articles about the changing in college football. And I think programs like Alabama, Ohio State for that matter, since they're out, they don't like it. They're having a hard time getting used to the new style of college football because nowadays anybody can be good in a short period of time. It's all about the portal. And I wonder, Alabama and Auburn had all these people leave. Well, are the ones coming in to replace them better than the ones that left?
And is there that coach with the magic wand, the Kurt Cignetti? Is there a coach who can come into a Power 4 program with a transfer quarterback coming in that could be next year's next year's Indiana? The Auburn Tigers, what does Indiana have that Auburn doesn't have, in that context? Could it be that Auburn could be next year's Indiana?
Well,
it happened in 2000. How many people in the offseason, right after January 2010 said, this is, again, after Alabama beats Texas because Colt McCoy got hurt and Alabama wins and Saban's back, Alabama's back, Saban's the GOAT and all that kind of stuff. How many of you faked, hey, watch out? Because, I got Auburn winning the national championship this upcoming year. What? Could happen.
Could. Now, let me go back here. Bill from Baltimore got hit by a tennis ball, and whoa, Bill, I know that had to hurt.
Oh, hey, now those, yeah. Oh, my gosh. He says, in a high school tennis match, my opponent hit a sharp volley right into the jewels. Tennis balls aren't fun, but that hurt like the dickens.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Only thing I can remember.
That.
Only thing I can remember remotely like that was I was playing like junior high ball at Southwest Middle School. It was middle school basketball. Southwest Middle School, Southwest Satellites. Shout out to Palm Bay, Florida. And my buddy, John Prestwood, he was driving in for a layup out on the baseline, and he got knocked into the megaphone, which was sitting down there by the head cheerleader, she was beautiful, and he got hit right into the small end of that, crushed the megaphone, and that ain't the only thing that got crushed. That megaphone was in pieces all over the place, and they almost had to get the ambulance out for him. How many people?
I can see how they would have
get racked by the megaphone.
All right, a couple of quick ones here before we go to break.
Yeah.
Tobias in Arizona says Alabama will be lucky to make the Sweet 16 the way they are rebounding. I hear you, Tobias. They got to rebound better if they're going to get further along than that. This is, Barry, why you get the Lifetime Achievement Award. I don't know what's going through the mind of Dennis Mitchell, but just bloom out of the blue. Montgomery needs a Kroger's. Where did that come from?
I mentioned something about Piggly Wiggly. And somebody else was talking about, was that the first one that I mentioned, something about a Piggly Wiggly. Immediately, Dennis Mitchell, Montgomery needs a Kroger's. John knows for a fact there's a Kroger in Auburn because that's where Chris Porter got his Western Union payment.
There's a Western Union outlet in that Kroger as well.
18 years ago. So John does know that. And it got into Hurricane Juan saying Montgomery also needs a Macy's. Hopefully one will go into East Chase. Plainsman Preston says, I have a Kroger.
Birmingham closed.
And Bucky's 12 miles away. I went to a Bucky's this past week down in Louisiana.
Really?
So anyway, all of that. I had one from my great friend Jason Jones about SEC scheduling, Auburn and Alabama, when they play each other. John guarantees that they're going to play on a weeknight.
Why not?
Which doesn't necessarily go, and I can't find it now. That's the bad thing about it. Unless I put a star by it immediately, then it's hard for me to come by and get it again. So I'll look for it during the break.
That I wanted to talk about when we get back, Barry. I wrote this down. This is on my list, and I saw this clip. Former Alabama great, Dallas Cowboy great, George Teague, Montgomery's own, played at Jeff Davis. I guess does maybe a podcast or something, because I've seen some clips, and he's talking about the future of college football and private equity firms. And it kind of goes along with something I mentioned last week that some people asked me about over the weekend. Jeff, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to touch on that when we get back.
Utah's doing it. Here we go. The Jason Jones, real quick. John, at least the SEC is not as dumb as the Sun Belt. They held rivalry week for basketball during the break when the students were home. Yeah, Troy played South Alabama. I'm not criticizing it, but it did hurt the attendance. Troy played South Alabama on break.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I don't know why you do that.
This past weekend, it happened. Arkansas State came in, and that was on of course, the holiday weekend, and a lot of the students were out. Not that I'm against it. Sometimes that's the way it goes. Let's take a break. More to come in a moment. It's Longshore McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is Central Alabama's best-known jewelry store. Their location at 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree is conveniently located adjacent to Chappie's Deli. At Marguerite's, they have every jewelry item imaginable because they make it. They really make it. From rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and much, much more. Marguerite's can also repair, clean, and rework any jewelry item that you want to bring back to life. Whether you're on a budget or have no budget at all, Marguerite's has all types of jewelry for everyone. Go by and see them today or call 270-0074.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown." Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this Monday. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out there each and every day. There's video content. There's a write-up about the show each and every afternoon. And, of course, the beauty of what we do here is you can watch and listen on your schedule. We're live from 7 to 9 every morning, but so many of our viewers and listeners check it out later in the day when it's more convenient for them. Maybe they're on the highways, on a long road trip, or watching on their phone or wherever it may be. We really appreciate that. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Tunes, probably missing a few, but you know where to go to get all of your podcast, and we greatly appreciate everybody checking that out. Well, now, Barry, before I get into the home equity, the equity firms,
yes,
I think Tobias has hit it on the head. I mean, nailed it today.
All right.
I mentioned the portal, and only Tobias could explain it in a way we all can understand.
I watched James Smith. See, you gotta give these people a question. Yeah, because they're talking into their thing, and sometimes it happens. I watched James Smith and Jordan Renaud get pushed around constantly. I watched Formby whiff countless times. I watched Rousseau get his cardio in instead of getting sacks. I'll take my chances with new guys. I love me some Tobias, but that's the prevailing opinion. I don't know anything at all about how good these new guys are, but anything's bound to be better than what we got right now. That's, when all those years when John and I would try to talk people through coaching changes. Mike Shula, this is me. Mike Shula's won 10 games when he was at Alabama. He could win. Who are you going to get other than, I don't care. Anybody's better than Mike Shula. Well, what are you going to do with a quarterback after whoever, after John Parker Wilson leaves? I don't care. I'm so tired of him. I'd rather see anybody than that guy. Same thing with this. Yeah. I don't care about those guys. Somebody new is probably going to be better. That's not always the case, gentlemen.
Well, and Tobias, look, I'm in their camp. I mean, it can't be any worse. I mean, because some of the stuff, and people want to blame the O-line coach or whatever. Okay, that might be part of it. But these guys ought to know how to play offensive line. And I saw games where I'm thinking, have these guys ever played this position before? So yeah, I'm with these guys. I think Bama fans should just take their chances and see what happens.
A national championship caliber program, a team that has won more national championships over the last 20 years than I think everybody else combined.
Yeah.
I just think we ought to take our chances and see what happens. Yeah, that is a great, great blueprint for success. Just take our chances and see what happens. That sounds good to me. Let me subscribe to that plan for success.
Okay. Let's phrase it this way. Bama fan out there, hit up the chat. Would you be satisfied if that same starting O-line was returning in 26? Would you feel confident? Woo, I sure am glad all those guys are coming back. I don't know what we could do without them. Bear
in mind, somebody, could it be any worse? Yeah, it could be a lot worse. Wilkin Formby is at Texas A&M now. They're not dumb. James Smith and Quay Russaw are at Ohio State. Whew. Man, what is Ohio State giving out charity cases here? What? They must not know what they're doing.
There used to be something back in the recruiting wars about, and I never subscribed to it, something called the Bama bump, that if you committed to Alabama, you automatically became a 5-star or something like that. That could be the case with some of those players you just mentioned, as well as, well, they played at Alabama. They must be good. We'll take them. I'm sure they did a little background check on these guys, but maybe where they played and the program they were a part of becomes very attractive for some of these schools to want to snag some of these players.
I remember, and I can't remember his name. There was a guy that played at Alabama. I think he was a DB. His last name was Scott. Can't think of his first name. And he transferred to South Alabama. Great kid, wonderful kid. There's anything wrong with him. But he was like no big deal at South Alabama. He was like, he started a few games here and there. Everybody's like, I transferred from Alabama. And he can't. Those kinds of things do happen. Now, I gave some credibility to the Bama bump, but we're going to give this guy a scholarship. After all, he did play at Alabama. Did he play?
Well,
did he play well?
Some people subscribe to that. I'm not sure if it's legitimate.
Quick things before John gets to his point about private equity firms in college football, because that's going to happen. Number one, remember last week when I told you that there was going to be this big meeting between the governance committee of the college football playoff, and there's going to be big presentation still at some airport hotel in Dallas.
Yep.
Big Ten was going to be there. SEC was going to be there. ESPN. Yeah, B.J. Scott. That's who it was. Thanks very much. B.J. Scott. I was
thinking of J.K. Scott. He was a punter.
I was actually thinking of Rico Scott, but it wasn't him. Anyway,
he's still on the team.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And you get it in your head and you can't get it out of it. You're thinking it's like a song. You're thinking that's not Rico Scott. I know it's not Rico Scott, and I couldn't think of it. Anyway, big meeting, and I told John that they were going to really hash out the Big Ten. The SEC wants a 16-team college football playoff. I think ESPN's deadline for making their mind up is in 2 weeks. The SEC's pushing for a 16-team playoff. The Big Ten is pushing for a 24-team playoff. What are they going to do? What's going to happen? They're going to have everybody together, and they'll get this figured out. It's not for next year. It's for the year after. And they're talking about compromise this and that. Anyway, nothing happened. Nothing happened. They just got together.
So,
they had a couple of, roast beef au jus sandwiches and some chips and everything, and sat in there for a while, got it all comped. And Nobody figured out anything, and they've got to have another meeting because ESPN needs to know. The SEC says, well, what about 16 teams over the next 2 years and then 24, like you wanted, Big Ten? Big Ten says, nope, 24 nothing, and just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. So that was nothing. That didn't turn out anything. President Donald Trump. Go ahead. No. That's a conversation stopper for a lot of people. Didn't mean it to be.
I saw that too. I thought that was an interesting. I look forward to talking about that. Here's my deal.
Yeah.
I would like to see a 16-team college football playoff. 24, I'm a little cold on that. But what I have not heard, Barry, is why does the Big Ten want 24 teams? What is their logic, their rationale for this is why we believe a 24-team model is best? Have they laid that out for America to look at and digest and discuss and think about? Because to me, 24 is too many, but I want to know why the Big Ten thinks that's the magic number.
It was so they can get more of their teams in there. That's basically all it is. Here's the gist. And again, everybody's in there. It's not just the SEC and the Big Ten in that meeting. It's the Sun Belt. It's the American. It's Big 12. It's ACC. It's everybody in there. But it's an impasse. And the commissioner of the Big Ten is Tony Petitti. Of course, the commissioner of the SEC is Greg Sankey. American Conference Commissioner Tim Pernetti, he summarized that entire meeting by saying the whole thing is up to two people in the room, Sankey and Petitti. Everybody else is just sitting around, playing paper football. Are those guys ever, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do that. And it's just basically two outsized egos with two outsized power bases. And they're saying, no, I'm not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And we're never going to get anywhere that way, Sean.
Well, I don't know. It goes back to the real world. And back in the day, when we were on the playground in like 4th or 5th grade, and Waldo and Poindexter over there going, well, wait a minute. We don't want to do it that way. Too bad. That's the way we're doing it. And Waldo and Poindexter just kind of put their head down and mumbled something, but then they played like everybody else wanted to play. And that's what's happening here. Petitti and Sankey are going, yeah, whoever you are over there at the ACC and the Big 12 and Mountain West, yeah, whatever. Just go over there and help yourself to some milk and cookies. And leave us alone.
Now,
that's what, and I know what you're saying. That just doesn't sound right. That's just not the way to do it. Okay, but that's what's happening.
That is what's happening.
And the Waldos and the Poindexters over there are having to take it.
Both of those statements can be true. It's not the way to do it, but that is what's being done. That is true. It was only 11 months ago in a meeting down in New Orleans. Remember when the SEC and the Big Ten got together? It was like Gorby and Ronnie up there at the meeting, and they're like holding their hands together and all this kind of stuff. And we've reached it. And then what was it? 3-4 months later, the Soviet Union dissolved or something. This is Sankey and Petitti going, we are here to help. We have entered into a new partnership, a brotherhood of ideas that's going to fix college football. Now they're looking at each other going, I don't care what you say. We're not doing it. Well, I don't care what you say. We're not doing it either. And it's somewhat one of the leaders in college football who was quoted in this piece by Ross Dellinger. He said, it's an embarrassment to the sport what happened in that meeting yesterday. Ain't nobody worried about the welfare of the student athlete. Ain't nobody worried about providing opportunities for young people in a college setting.
Yeah.
It is bordering on embarrassing right now.
Don't give me this holier than thou business. Come on.
Yeah.
It ain't happening that way. I will say this, Barry, and I know maybe you know this. I don't know. Or just spitball. Take a guess. Don't need to look it up.
Okay.
Unless you feel like you have to.
Okay.
If we had a 24-team playoff this year, how many additional SEC teams would have gotten in? Vandy? They would have been in a 24-team league, I believe.
Yeah, I do too.
Would Texas have made it?
Texas would have probably made it.
With 3 losses. Texas gets in with 3 losses. The regular season losses, because Alabama had 3 losses too. But they went to the
Tennessee.
No, I don't think Tennessee makes it.
In 24? In a 24 team?
Yeah.
24 is a lot.
So would they have only been 5 SEC teams in a 24 team playoff?
Yeah. Maybe six, but 5. I would go 5. The Big Ten.
All right, so say there's 6 SEC.
The Big Ten would probably have had more. The Big Ten. Remember, the Big Ten is huge now. The Big Ten would have had. I mean, who ended up getting in the Big Ten? Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon. Those were only 3. Michigan would have gotten in. They were, they were 7-2 in the Big Ten.
Even my point being, if we go to 24, you're going to have teams with 4 losses.
Well, there ain't
maybe
no doubt.
More.
Yeah, no question.
I mean, if the Big Ten,
Illinois
SEC,
might have gotten in. Illinois might have gotten in, and they were 9-4. You're right. There's no question.
So, but if you've only got 6 SEC teams and 6 Big Ten teams, where are the other 12 teams coming from? Are they going to be 12 other teams from the ACC, the Big 12, and everybody else that are worthy of being into a playoff?
No,
I don't think so.
It ain't about worthy about being in a playoff.
24 is crazy. And then are you still going to have your conference championship games?
That's up to ESPN.
How are you going to fit a 24-team playoff into a 6-week period?
No, you were 24. You got to get rid of. With a 16, you can have. I guess you can have a college football, a conference championship game. 24, there's no way because you're right. You're going to have to move the start of the playoff to that weekend, right? To like the next weekend after the end of the regular season for it to work, to keep you from having to play a championship game on Valentine's Day, And
even right now, we have a week off due to exams, allegedly.
Oh, that's a reason.
It's a little, we had a little buffer there. So you got to still factor that in, I would assume. I mean, they are there to go to school, I believe, I think. I'm not buying this 24 thing.
Well,
look, I don't like it.
What the and again, the SEC and the Big Ten, it's all up to them, and they're both hardlining this. Forget about what the Big 12 wants or the ACC or anybody else. Forget about the American and the Sun Belt. They're not paying attention to them. Most everybody is voicing support for a 16-team model. So if they do end up taking a vote, which they're not going to take a vote, they're just going to reach a deal, most of them would vote for the 16-team. The Big Ten wants a 24-team for 2 reasons. Number 1, so they can get more of their teams in. And number 2, it's become a saving face kind of thing. If the Big Ten pushes this thing through, then that shows that they have enough juice to do anything they want. I mean, man, if they can push that through, then all of a sudden they are, I mean, you understand business leverage and all of that. They've got the leverage to where they can say, look, we got that done and you came with us and it turned out okay. We want this to happen too. And it's got a corollary carryover effect. So that's, again, if everybody had their druthers, I mean, I'm still, 12 teams is too much if you ask me, but if everybody had a vote right now, which they don't, it would be a 16-team model with automatic qualifiers for each of the 4 power leagues and the best non-power league conference champion. That means 5 plus 11 at-large selections. Isn't 11 enough?
I think it is. So, but you mentioned earlier, 2 years of a 16-team playoff, then we're going to go to 24. I wouldn't even have that language in there. I think let's just play with 16 for a while. Let's see how that, don't put a 2-year limit on it.
Which is what the SEC is proposing. Give us at least 2 years. The SEC wants a 16-team playoff for perpetuity. They want it to keep going.
Yeah.
but they're willing to give up a couple of you and saying, okay, well, how about 16 for 2 years, and then we'll do what you want just to get this thing moving along. If the deadline passes, then they're going to stay with 12, which is fine with me. But for the Big Ten, they're looking at, they get right now in the 16-team deal, you got an automatic qualifier for each of the 4 power leagues. The Big 12 wants 4 automatic qualifiers from each of the 4 teams. Right? The Big 12 is going to get 4 no matter what. The SEC is going to get 4 no matter what. Big 12, ACC, they'll all get 4. That's 16 teams right there, just among the Big 4 conferences. And then 2 from the group of 6 and 6 at large. So what they want is a guaranteed 4 from their league, no matter what else happens. It's a mess. Again, what the interesting thing to me about it is this is an absolute power play. Everybody else from every other conference knows it. They, what the American wants doesn't matter. What the ACC wants doesn't matter. What the Sun Belt or the MAC or anything, it does not matter. This is an arm wrestling match between Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti. And whoever wins this probably will be able to dictate college football, college athletics policy for a good little while to come. It's a power play, John. That's all it is.
It is a power play. I just don't get the numbers. I can't figure that out. But there's some other big numbers that we're going to talk about as well. You mentioned Utah and a private equity firm. When is that going to be at a school near you?
We're talking about patches on the jerseys. We're talking about, a sticker on the back of the helmet. They're talking about a private equity firm running your athletic department, basically, dictating leadership personnel, dictating contracts with vendors and uniforms and all that kind of stuff, dictating, hey, look, all right, do we have that? You guys know sometimes what private equity firms can do. Hey, do we really need 105 scholarships? I mean, only 11 play at a time. Can't we get by with 44 scholarships? And why do we have to have a punter on scholarship? I mean, can't we just get somebody from the stands?
Let the backup quarterback punt like Danny White did for the Cowboys.
Couldn't you get the tight ends coach to also be the special teams coach? Can't you do that? Why do we have to have one tight ends coach and one special teams coach? And who are all of these guys that are assistant general manager for high school relations? Can't you get one of your guys to do that in his own free time?
Can't the tight ends coach be the men's golf coach too? Kind of like Gene Stallings back in the day?
Yeah. Yep.
Are those days coming?
I never forget when I was growing up at the University of Florida, Dave Fuller, who was about 60 when I was a kid, he was an assistant coach on the football team. He was the head baseball coach. He was the baseball coach. That was secondary to him coaching football. But, I mean, hitting grounders at BP and recruiting and, making sure the field is manicured, that was up to him. It's the craziest thing, but,
So we're going to touch on this when we get back. Also, the Phantom's Daily Dog later this hour. Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 topic wheel coming your way on this holiday Monday. I know a lot of folks have the day off, but hey, that's okay. Enjoy yourself. You can check out Longshore McKnight anytime on your schedule. That's the beauty of it. So if you can't check us out live in the morning, you can check us out anytime throughout the day on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes, YellowHammerNews.com, you name it. You can check it out then and there.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information. Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service. Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Up. Not getting John here for some. Oh, got to turn him. There we go.
Well, thank you for being back with us here on this Monday. A chilly day, which I understand it's going to be even, should I say, chillier throughout the remainder of the week. I think it's going to be a cold week in our neck of the woods.
Yep. It's actually, I'm going to
so
be.
You might have seen.
I'm going to be getting on a plane tomorrow for Norfolk, Virginia. And it's cold. It's going to be colder, I believe, in Montgomery, Alabama, in that little stretch, than it is going to be in Norfolk, Virginia. So it's going to be cold.
Who does Troy play in Norfolk?
Against Old Dominion University on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. The Monarchs.
All right. Monarchs. Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Private equity. I got to tell you, Barry, I don't know a lot about how this is going to work. I'm not real sure what's going on in Utah with this private equity firm, but it certainly seems to me something that other schools are going to be very interested in. Will an Auburn or an Alabama ever be interested in it? Will the conferences have a say-so in equity firms being a part of college athletic departments? Those are questions I don't have the answer to, but I
don't know.
Feel confident in this. If they do have a lot to do with it, they're going to want to be making all the decisions and running it like they want it run.
Well, you already see some athletic departments that have privatized some of the stuff. The University of Florida has a University Athletic Association, which is they've got Seminole boosters at Florida State and everything. The University of Utah will go down in NCAA history as the first college athletic department to accept private equity money. Back in December, the school announced the formation of a new company, Utah Brands and Entertainment. I'm going to get too deep in the woods. There is a new company. It is a company. Anyway, it is a for-profit company owned by the University of Utah Foundation, which is not necessarily athletics, but it's the University of Utah. This new company owned by the Utah Foundation will own select revenue-generating operations. They will partner with a private equity firm called Otro Capital that has deep operational experience in sports, entertainment, and media. The new venture is expected to generate as much or more than $500 million in capital. So basically, the company is owned by the University of Utah Foundation, which is not the same as the University of Utah. And it is going to be funded by a private equity firm called Otro Capital. Otro Capital is invested in sports and entertainment and media companies. They know that business. And John's right. They're going to come in and they're going to invest money into it, as much as $500 million or more. And they're not just going to sit back and say, here's all of our money. You do with it what you will. Just try to get us some money out of it. No, they are going to want to. Private equity firms, many of them, their number one goal, of course, is to make money for their investors, which means going in there, one of the first things you're going to do is you're going to cut expenses, right? Make the bottom line look better.
Yeah, no doubt.
And, no
doubt.
All decisions regarding operations and athletics will be made by the athletic director. Yeah. Upon advice from the private equity partners. Yes.
Sure. Yeah, they'll do that until something's not going right, or they're not making enough money, or the profits aren't looking good. And this goes back, and actually I'm going to try to do this while I'm on there. The sun is dead in my face, so I'm going to try to move. We're going to do this on the fly if we can. How about that?
There's nothing
that's
wrong
better.
with that.
Much better. So if something's not going right, they're not making the money that they're, estimated to make, whatever it may be, they're going to want to make some changes. Let me throw this one out there to you. And there again, I don't know if the SEC, I don't know what the bylaws of the SEC and all that business are about. Well, you've got to, everything runs through the SEC and all the guidelines, blah, blah, blah. I don't know all the mumbo jumbo. I don't know how Utah's doing it. And, nobody else in that league can. To me, it would be a lot of hoops to jump through for an SEC team to have a private equity firm involved with them, but I'm not saying it isn't going to happen, because nothing surprises me now. But let's just say that is the case. How are Auburn and Alabama fans going to accept that, react to it? There again, you know what? We want our merchandise to sell more. We're not selling enough merchandise. You know how we're going to do that? We're going to change the uniforms up. We're going to alter some things, add some new color schemes and designs and whatever, because we want more jerseys to sell at the stores. How's an Auburn and Alabama fan going to accept that? Wait a minute. You don't change our jerseys. Well, yeah, they might.
I think the kids will love it. I think the younger people will love it. Now, what's going to happen is that the fans would write in or email or call the athletic director, the old folks. They hadn't changed our uniforms in 60 years, and I still, I'm not going to do it. And the athletic director says, I understand your concerns. I will bring it up with our team, which means at Utah's case, it means Otro Capital. And Otro Capital will say, some of those old people have the same jerseys, kind of like me with my Mark Brunell jersey. I mean, I've had that thing ever since Mark Brunell played. Some of our old folks, they're still going to games with their Major Ogilvy jersey on, or they're going to games and they've got a number 8 Alabama jersey, or a number 2 Auburn jersey, or a number 34 Auburn jersey. We need them to buy other jerseys, instead of that same one they've been wearing for 30 years. How are we going to do it? We're going to give them more options. So you tell that fan to go ahead and keep wearing his threadbare Major Ogilvy jersey, but the young kids, they don't know who in the world Major Ogilvy is. They don't care. Let's sell. Let's put our logo on the field. If somebody else is going to spend $10 million to put their logo on the field, by gosh, we are going to put that logo on the field. That's going to
Totally agree. And
they
people aren't
are
gonna like
not
that,
in it
particularly
because they're big football fans. They are not. Otro
No.
Capital isn't in it because they love the University of Utah. They're
No,
in it to
not at
make
all.
money. That's it. They don't care
If
about
that
the
means
student athlete
logos on the
model.
field, patches on the uniforms, new jersey combinations,
Yep.
they're going to do it. And as I mentioned it last week, I didn't really get into the equity firm, but I really kind of talked about, because somebody had brought up the logos on the uniforms. So when you see it in the NBA, you see it in the NFL in preseason games. I think baseball. Don't the Braves wear some type of patch?
Yeah.
On their
Oh,
uniform?
yeah. There's patches.
What's it?
There's absolutely.
Yeah, Major League Baseball's doing it. Speaking of the Braves, Bill from Baltimore, the great chat. I did not know this, but I want to find out. This sounds great. Speaking of the Braves.
Again, I feel once again that I have to go to my default mode on this program, and we're getting into a real discussion about college athletics and private equity firms, and then, ooh, what Korean shortstop injured his hands for the Braves? Ooh, what? So, I feel
out for half the season.
Ha-Sung Kim, 4 to 5 months, a torn tendon in one of his right fingers. He is supposed to be their big-time shortstop. I do not know the nature. 1 year, $20 million. He was with the Padres for a little while. Tampa Bay, a little bit with Atlanta. He came to Atlanta last year, hurt his shoulder. No nature of what happened with the finger, but yeah, he hurt his finger somehow, cut his finger.
Yeah.
Or tore a tendon in his middle finger.
From Robbie from Greenville and all of our other Braves fans, John from Wetumpka. Oh, well, if that guy hadn't hurt his finger, we'd be in the World Series. Is that what I'm about to be in for this spring
Colt
and
McCoy
summer, Braves fans?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Really?
No, this guy's not a difference maker or anything, although he's making $20 million a year.
I hated to get off the topic there, but I'm actually going to blame that one on Bill from Baltimore. There's certain topics that I see it. Ooh,
well, you can always say no, John. You can always say, hang on a moment, fellas. We're on something else. I'll do that a little bit later on. Nope. It's like, ooh, like every once in a while in the background, you'll hear a ding. And I thought, oh boy, here we go. And John will say, oh, look at this. Anyway, did you know? And we'll get totally off topic with that one too. That happens.
So the private equity firms.
Yeah. Here we go.
Logos on the field, patches on the jerseys, different uniform combination. I'm trying to think, Barry. Auburn comes out in the navy blue. Alabama comes out in the crimson red with some patch on it for some company. Is that what you want to see? Well, if they're giving enough money and it kind of helps our, bottom line and NIL and whatever else, yeah, I guess I'm okay with it.
You're going to have to be okay with it because it's coming. It's going to happen. You think you can just go up to name somebody. You're going to be able to go up to Byron Brown in this scenario and ask him for an autograph? No, Byron Brown will be, and none of these not already, will be in a closed environment with limited access. And sure, he'll take a picture with you. $30, and that $30 goes to the university's private equity, that kind of thing. The access will be limited. The money will be plentiful. There will be money involved in this, a good bit of money involved in this. Some of your sensibilities will be harmed by a golden flake patch on the shoulder or a Yellowwood patch on the shoulder. But John, that's where we're headed. I mean, this is gonna happen. Like Bill from Baltimore says, private equity will turn into the Indians in Major League 2, putting up ads everywhere. Hong Kong King 2 buffet. No, Hong Kong buffet number 2 will have an ad read or something like that. Although they went out of
Well, I
business
think
soon after
they
John
went out
and
of
B.
business.
Jackson ate
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
surprised. Well,
happening.
yeah.
This is happening.
is.
This is
So-
what you want. But here's the thing. People are saying, well, college football has lost me. It's not the same as it used to be. I loved it back whenever you didn't have the transfer portal and these guys weren't making millions and 2-year contracts with players and all that kind of stuff. It's just lost me. John, college football, by any way you can measure it, this year has never been more popular.
Well,
All of you
in what
fans saying,
regard?
I'm out. Well, everybody ain't out. As a matter of fact, there's more people now than ever.
All right. So that was interesting. We were thinking along the same lines because that was the next area I was going.
It's true.
In what regard is it more popular? Through television viewership? Because I wonder the fan base, and I'm strictly thinking about Southern fans. Are they going to want to scratch out a check, and it's about that time of year, for your seat license, and then you got to buy your seats, the whole deal, parking, the time and expense of going to college football. It's an all weekend affair in a lot of cases.
Yes.
Are you going to want to do that 6, 7, 8 times in the fall? And you think, wait a minute, these guys are getting paid millions of dollars. I don't know where they're going to be this time next year. We got a private equity firm with logos all over the uniform in the field and all this, that, and the other. Team, is not living up to my expectations. So do we see numbers inside stadiums falling? But I could see television viewership increasing because I'm not going up there. I watch it right here. Doesn't cost me anything until they hook it up on these streaming services and make you pay for it, whatever. But I just wonder if we're going to see a decline in fans actually at the games.
Possibly. Yeah. Now, the money that they're asking, when you say, Utah is going to be making $500 million more through private equity, maybe that'll give us a break. No, it ain't giving you a break. They're not going to say, all right, we getting a lot more money. Let's ease the burden on the fans. No, that's never going to change. It's always going to stay equal or rise. There was a great piece the other day with a guy in Alabama who is a media expert. And he was talking about, I get it. John's right. Football has become the dominant sport in America, when for years and years, even when I was a very little kid, it was starting to change, but it was always baseball is America's game. Baseball is America's pastime. It's not anymore. It's football. And that is and he says, this media expert, he says what I've always said. It's for one reason only. It's because football is the perfect programming for television. People will even watch a game they don't care about. I didn't really care two toots necessarily last night about the Bears and the Rams. No Troy players are playing for either one of the teams. But you're watching that, even though it looks freezing and it looks terrible and everything like that. There is no, I'm not talking about just sports programming. I'm talking about any programming. Nothing. Not Lost, not American Idol, not presidential debates. Nothing is better programming for television.
I'm with you. I'll tell you something else, though. I think the time of year has a lot to do with it as well. I was thinking about this exact thing last night, Barry, what you just brought up. I'm with my daughter and her husband. They've been with us this weekend. We watched all 4 of the NFL games, not glued and watched every minute, but every one of those games was on. Yesterday, it was cold, windy. That Bear game, we're sitting there watching the whole thing. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way we'd be doing this watching a basketball game or a baseball game. Now, granted, baseball's in the summer and people are out and about doing a lot of stuff. They're not sitting around watching baseball in the middle of July. But now it's January, it's cold, not a lot going on, whatever. I think the time of year has a lot to do with it with the NFL. I think I'm with you. I think the way football is presented on television, it attracts males and females, young and old. I think the demographics are extremely widespread. I think the demographics in baseball and basketball are a little bit more defined of who is actually sitting there watching those games on a regular basis. Everybody seems to watch football in some way or some way or fashion. And this weekend, I'm thinking around going, these two ladies are watching this football game and they seem really interested in it.
It's because it looks better on TV. It's more linear. It's more boxy. Baseball, you can hit it into the corner and you've got that camera over there looking over there into the corner. What's the runner doing? Is he going to third? Can't tell you yet because he's still fishing, and all of that kind of stuff. Football, it's just so linear. You're either going a little bit this way, a little bit that way, but it's all right in front of you on a big rectangle, not a big, huge field and all that. You never really know what might happen. The best thing to happen to football, I think, recently is the 2-point conversion because, you're down 16 and you got 4 minutes to go in the old way. You ain't winning that game. But now you got a chance. It's only a 2-score game. You get the touchdown, you get the onside kick, and you get another touchdown, and you can, be right back in it. It's just everything. Again, I'm not talking about other than I Love Lucy or MASH or the Andy Griffith Show or Seinfeld or, The Wire or anything like that. I'm talking about any kind of TV programming. This guy says football is the best TV program that programming that there's ever been. I think, what do they say? 96 out of the top 100 rated television programs were sports events. And out of those 96, something like 84 of them were football games. 84, something like
no
that.
doubt. I'd be interested to see what these NFL ratings were this weekend and what the college football national championship rating will be tonight.
The only reason why I bring that up is because of what you're talking about. The private equity people, they're not going to be worried at all about how many people are in the stands, except as a background to a television camera. It's all
it's kind of like the NFL. A lot of those stadiums are smaller in size compared to some college stadiums. They don't care. It's all how many people are watching on television. And I think that's where we're heading in college football. We've talked about it before. You don't see these programs building these mega stadiums anymore. The days of 100,000 seat stadiums are over. Don't need them. Don't need them anymore because the TV money that's coming in and what the future television numbers are going to be. And I get it. Maybe it's just the age in which I am today, but I didn't think I'd ever be that guy that said, "Ooh, man, watching it on TV is pretty nice." It is. I enjoy going to the games. Don't get me wrong, but I don't feel the urge or the need to go to as many as I did in my 30s and 40s when I had to be at every one of them. Okay, don't go. Watch it on TV. Everything's great. No big deal. But I will be watching the game tonight. And when we get back, Barry, we're going to go over the Phantom's Daily Dog and see if he's got to play on tonight's national championship game.
Well, he's got to play on something. And that's next with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Glad you are with us. About 20 minutes to the top of the hour. It is the national championship in college football tonight from Miami, I believe. Yep. This is where
Miami.
the Hurricanes play their regular season games. Is that going to be an advantage for them tonight? I don't think so.
You watch. Yeah. Indiana they'll have at least as many, although I think a good number of the people who will be in attendance are not necessarily Miami or Indiana fans. Yep. They're just the high and mighty who can afford the $3,000 to buy tickets. Yeah,
that's right. Corporate America's gobbling up a lot of those.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to do it. It might not be pleasant, but we got to do it. The Daily Dog on Friday. You might have forgotten. I hope you did. That ought to kind of give you a hint of
how it went. Yes. Yeah.
The Toronto Raptors, and I got to come clean. I haven't seen 1 minute of Toronto Raptor basketball this year. Got to tell you.
Well, what? All right. Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't see a minute of it Friday night as they hosted the Clippers of Los Angeles.
Evidently, it was a really good game. It went to overtime. Backward, forward, topsy-turvy. It was a topsy-turvy, and an autopsy is what you needed after the Phantoms' final in that one.
Well, you're right. It goes to overtime. We're at home. We're catching 2.5. We're thinking, I like our chances here. Got the home crowd with us, catching points, and we fall 1.5 points short.
Get outscored in overtime 12-8. That is a 4-point advantage in overtime for the visiting Clippers.
Yeah.
And therefore, it was a 4-point final. Clippers win it over Toronto at Toronto, 121-117.
Oh, it was tough. It was tough. Okay, but you know what, Barry? We're moving on. We are moving on. Tonight, 6:30 on ESPN is the College Football National Championship game, where at this moment, Indiana is a 7.5-point favorite. Total is 47.5. Indiana's minus 325 on the money line. Miami plus 260, if you're into that type stuff.
Okay.
Did you know, Barry, that Indiana, and I guess this is Herb Street Fowler, Holly Rowe, Laura Rutledge on the main broadcast. And I know there's other ways you can watch it, but I'm going to let you guys knock that out.
Yeah, there should be a Longshore and McKnight channel.
True.
On that.
I totally agree. Barry, did you realize that Indiana has forced 5 turnovers on its opponent's opening drives this season?
I did not. I know they forced a turnover on the opening drive of the Oregon game.
Yep. And of course, that leads the Hoosiers, gives them the ability to play from ahead.
Yes,
You've heard the term, they're playing from behind. No, they're playing from ahead. Now, I got to see, and you got to take a real long look at Miami and what their defense has done in this playoff run. Held A&M, that's Texas A&M, scoreless for the first half in College Station. Aggies didn't score a point. They held Ohio State scoreless for the first half. And the Buckeyes generated a total of 9 yards in their first 2 drives.
Ooh.
I mean, that sounds like a team in the state of Alabama. They got beat by this Indiana team. Ole Miss, remember them?
I do.
They went 3 and out in their first 2 possessions, generating -3 yards in those 2 drives. So you see where I'm getting at here. The trend is Miami's got to get on you early. You got to set the tone. Miami's defense has allowed an average of just 4.8 points in the first half of the season. This is a strong first half team. Indiana, okay. The most prepared team in the country. I've said that for weeks. They're confident, they're prepared, they don't make mistakes. But from a defensive standpoint, is there any team better equipped to match wits with Kurt Cignetti and this Indiana offense than Miami Hurricanes? I'm just laying it out there, asking questions for the audience to ponder. We say it's too many points to be given up. Yeah, Indiana might win the game tonight, but are they going to win by more than 7.5? I'm not so sure. So we're going to take the Miami Hurricanes as the daily dog in the national championship, playing in their home stadium, very familiar with the surroundings. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, man, Indiana's blown people out the last couple of 3 games.
Well, they've blown people out all year.
This is now.
Indiana's wins 56-9, 73-0, 63-10, 38-13.
Who were those? And who were those teams?
They beat UCLA by 50. They beat Maryland by 45. They beat. There's some team they beat by 35. They beat.
Had to go to overtime against Penn State, I recall.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Like a 500 Penn State.
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean, look, I'm throwing it out there, like Fox News. We report, you decide.
You decide. There you go. That is the Phantom's daily dog. Let's not run with this, okay? Let's not. I'm just mentioning shows off the top of my head when we're talking about television programming. If I want to go, The Sopranos, Seinfeld, Friends, The Wire, real popular ones. Tobias says, Barry's a fan of The Wire. My man. Tobias, I ain't never seen 1 second of The Wire. I just know it was popular. Let's see. My son Jack watches Hell on Wheels. I've seen a couple of episodes of Yellowstone. My wife and I made about the first 10 minutes of the first Game of Thrones until that guy got decapitated in slow motion. So, yeah, I've
never seen 1 episode of Game of Thrones. I understand.
I've seen 10 minutes of it, and that's it. We were done. Yeah. So anyway, you guys are talking about Breaking Bad. My son Jack likes Breaking Bad too. I've not. No, that's. I haven't seen that either. Well, that is the Phantom's daily dog. When we come back, it's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Montgomery Regional Airport is getting better the more you use it. MGM offers multiple nonstop daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Washington's Reagan National Airport via Delta and American Airlines. And beginning this April, MGM will offer daily nonstop flights to Houston's Intercontinental Airport via United Airlines. All of these cities offer easy connections to destinations all over the country and all over the world. Make travel more cost-effective and less stressful when you utilize your Montgomery Regional Airport. MGM, you can get there from here.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Have to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun.
Hey, I got you, Bud Light.
Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
What I miss?
I have no idea.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Here we are back at it again. It's Longshore and McKnight. John is in a remote location. We'll hopefully get him to where you can hear him at some time soon. Yep. But all of a sudden he has lost connectivity, which is pretty much everything in this deal. Lucky for us, we have got our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, presented by Victoryland 777 Casinos, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. Real quick, here's the rundown. 6 items, all curated and researched by Gurn Jr., our producer, and we don't know what any of them are. We begin with big deal, which can be said in a lot of different ways. That guy, he's a big deal. Or 5 straight losing years, big deal. Oh, yeah. Kyle Tucker signs with the Dodgers. Great player, played for the Cubs, played for the Astros, good hitter. $240 million, 4-year contract with the Dodgers. Second highest in baseball history behind Shohei Ohtani. I love the Dodgers, but this is bad for baseball. The Dodgers are already, World Series champions, back-to-back, and now they're spending more and more money than anybody. They also got Edwin Diaz in the bullpen, and they're just getting better. He was a great player with the Cubs, great player with the Astros, and now he's with the Dodgers. And very few other teams have a chance now. There are 2/3 in Major League Baseball who has zero chance of winning the World Series. Zero. 60 to 70% of the teams in Major League Baseball have no shot. And all of the remaining 30, 40%, they have a small shot. It's going to be the Dodgers again, and I love the Dodgers. But this is bad for baseball. This is not good. Not good. Somebody had asked me about this real quick, since John's not here. We'll get him in a moment, but somebody asked me about this picture I have on the back of my curio thing here. This is what it is. This is me and John at Jubilee City Fest. We had a live appearance that we had to make. Remember this, John, down at Jubilee City Fest? You and I repping our old place. This has got to be 20 years ago, something like that. So that's what it is. I keep it back there, kind of a memento of our long career together. Somebody asked, there it is. Okay, back to the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. We've got 5 left. The Kyle Tucker thing. Good news for Dodger fans, of which I'm one. Bad news for baseball. This one is look out for Ernest. Is this Ernest Worrell from Ernest Saves Camp or whatever? Look out for Ernest. Who in the world is Ernest? Oh, nice. See, if it's not the bear from Altadena, it's the great white shark named Ernst. His name is Ernst, not Ernest. And they've got him tagged. The latest ping looks like this is Ernst. Ernst is a bad dude. This is from a week ago. Yeah, but he's just off of Gulf Shores. And he is a great white, and he is all that. So I mean, it's freezing, it's cold, da da da. If you're going to Gulf Shores, you're probably, and John's down near there, you're not going to be out there in the water, which is a good thing because Ernst is out there. This is like Jaws in real life. I love these things. I love that you can track a shark. I love it. Now, 4 more to go. Here we go. Let's see if we can get these in and spin the wheel here. I think John's good now. We'll see. Good ranking. This is good ranking. Could be anything. Alabama is Southern Living magazine. We used to get Southern Living all the time when I was a kid. My mom, who's watching us right now, loves it. The 20 best spots for chicken wings in the South, 3 of them are in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit there. Bad shave. I had one of those. Ooh.
Let's see. Where have we got here? This is Saw's. Have you ever eaten at Saw or Saw's up in Birmingham, I believe? Great wings. I've seen it. I know some people who have eaten there before, but Saw's Juke Joint in Birmingham. White barbecue sauce, dry rubbed, smoked, the whole deal. I got to tell you, it doesn't look great. Crickets in Madison. That's Theodos's. Theodis, you got to get on the chat line and tell us if you've eaten at Crickets, one of the top 20 chicken wings places in the South. Huh. Okay. I got to get Theodos's thought because that's up in Madison. Okay, we've got 3 more here. 3 more on the topic wheel. Let's see. Let's go chili. Oh, chill. Is it chill or chili? Chili. Well, hang on. Let's go bad shave. Sorry, I looked at the wrong arrow. Bad shave. Ooh. Okay, never mind. It wasn't bad shave. It was the Chili Bowl Nationals. Emerson, Axum. Well, never mind. Okay, here we go. Now we go to bad shave. This was huge in college basketball. 26 people charged in connection with basketball game fixing, college basketball in America, professional hoops in China. Alabama State was involved with this. Several former college basketball players, and go up just a little bit, one more paragraph up. Trainers and high-stakes sports gamblers, Marvis Fairley and Shane Hennon, named in the indictment. A couple of these guys, Alabama State was named anyway. You're innocent until proven guilty. They tried to fix 29 games in 2 years in college basketball. Nicholls State, Tulane, Northwestern State, Southern Miss, Alabama State, Eastern Michigan, Abilene Christian, New York, and all that. Not good. And sometimes I know the players are responsible for their own behavior. Sometimes they get caught up in something that they just cannot get out of. You end up, needing money or losing money or getting in somebody's getting in your pocket, and you got to try to get out of debt. And that's what you do. That's never the way to do it. 29 games. It could be the most sweeping college basketball scandal since 1951. We told you there's so much money now in college athletics. Some of these guys have either got to get out of debt, something that they got themselves into and got in over their heads, or just simply like the money. Somebody else is making money in their NIL. Why can't I make some money? It's a bad, bad look for college athletics, for sure. Certainly college basketball. All right, 2 more to go. We had a quick look at Chili recap. Let's take another look at this one. Chili recap. The 26 Chili Bowl Nationals, Emerson Axum. Now, the Chili Bowl. This looks cool. Love the American flag. These are indoor mini racing? The Chili Bowl Nationals. Again, I love this kind of racing because nobody really gets hurt. I mean, those things, they'll roll. Like, that's one of the best I've ever seen. But he's perfectly fine, And they'll have that. Fans love it. I get it. Standing room only. Emerson Axum wins the Chili Bowl National championships. Wins the Chili Bowl Cup. Looks like he's got it on his head. There you go. Look at the fans. The Chili Bowl. Finally, New Digs. New Digs is the last on today's Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Somebody's got a new place. Oh, yeah, the Commanders. This new thing they're building is like 3 million. I'm sorry, 3 million. 3 point something million, almost 4 billion. Billion with a B. I wonder. Oh my gosh. It looks like the old Saddle Dome in Calgary. And it looks like, what is this? What is this? The Lincoln Memorial? I got to tell you this, it fits in with the surrounding decor in D.C. It looks like a combination of the Lincoln Memorial and the Saddle Dome. You've got the parking decks even look like that. And they've got brush on the top. They've got vegetation on the top. 4 billion, that's going to look cool. I want to see what, just low profile, I want to see what it looks like inside before I reserve judgment. That's a good get. We're going to see how it goes. It's a great edition of today's Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. We'll get John back tomorrow when he'll be back in the studio. We'll recap the national champion. I fully expect it to be Indiana. Please let it be Miami. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the program. It's Longshore and McKnight, Association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.